Brock's Krogunk was really a beast in the anime, whether it was defeating legendary attacks or just keeping Brock in line so that he wouldn't do anything crazy. This is how this frog won my wife's heart, and that's why she chose it and named it Des Frog. But can I beat the game with just this little frog in its evolution? Well, as you can see, it's going to be a little bit tougher than I anticipated after breeding one and bringing it into the game so that it was obedient. Being unable to beat a level 4 Azumarill and only being able to really do anything against Hoppin. Thankfully it doesn't want to attack too much. But why is this little frog struggling? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at its base stat total. Being a whopping 300 and a balanced attacker with pretty low defenses as well, this frog does get a pretty good upgrade when it actually becomes Toxicroak later on. Getting a boost to its base stat total of 190 points and becoming more of a physical attacker, and those defenses are actually getting a little bit of a buff and it becomes much faster. But looking at its moveset, it doesn't really learn that much from level up, but when we start to look at its TM moveset, this thing is massive, giving coverage for almost every single Pokemon in the game. I'm going to be able to hit with super effective damage except one or two, and if they come up, I'll mention them later on. Well, best thing to do is go ahead and go straight to fighting Katie, the bug-type gym leader. And I have double resistance to her, so this shouldn't be no problem. Unfortunately, my poison sting is just as weak and pathetic as possible. So my only option is to hopefully reduce Nimble's accuracy here until the point that I can actually just stall him out. Use Astonish. Hopefully I can win this. Being at the same level as them, this is kind of underwhelming to see how well they're holding up against me, even though I'm attacking them with super effective damage and getting hit with water resisted moves in return, when they use their bug moves, that is. But slowly but surely I'll whittle them down and hopefully I'll win. Alright, Tarantula's also been taken out. Next is her Teddy Ursa. She's going to terrestrialize into Bug. I'm going to go for the Mud Slaps to reduce its accuracy because I know it's going to want to use a low accuracy move anyway in Fury Swipes, and it takes me out in 2 hits anyway. Well, that was pathetic. Thankfully, when I was running around, I found Bulk Up, taught that to Krogunk in place of Astonish, and decided to head back to Katie to try again once I got to level 17. And I go ahead and I hit it with 3 Mud Slaps, and then I set up 6 Bulk Ups in order to hopefully sweep the team. I ate my Oran Berry, and it still took 2 shots to take out Nimble with the Poison Sting. Tarantula comes in, gets poisoned on the first turn. Without that, it would have been a 3-hit, but thankfully I got it, so it was a 2-hit. Next is Teddy Ursa. Keep in mind, this is a fully boosted stab Poison Sting, and it's going to at least 3 turns to beat Teddy Ursa by the looks of it. Thankfully, the poison kicks in, or it could have been a 4-turn. But with that, I'm past Katie, and I can go on to Claw. Thankfully, Claw is going to be a lot easier. I can just use Bulk Up 1 time and go for a low kick that's also going to be Terra boosted, which is a 1-hit. Since that was so easy, I just go ahead and pursue him right down the hill. Arvin joins me, and we begin the fight with Cloth anew. And I'm going to pull off the same strategy I did last time, just using Bulk Up and going straight in to a low kick, which is of course going to give the 1-hit. And with that, Cloth is beat, and so is the first Titan. Next up is Brassius, the Grass Gym Leader that I also have a type advantage on. This time I had Venoshock. I used Bulk Up just to raise my defenses a little bit, and then I one-shot Pentalil, and then Smoliv. I use another Bulk Up just to, like I said, shore up my defenses for Sudowoodo, and Venoshock to take it out. And then comes in the Sudowoodo, which I know has sturdy, so it's going to last over 2 hits regardless of what I do. Venoshock hits once, almost knocked it into the sturdy range, take Trailblaze, barely any damage, and knock it out on the second turn. And with that, Brassius is done. Next, I head over to the Dark Team Starfall member base and try to get in, but immediately get KO'd. So I go to get Rock Slide on that little ledge there, but obviously I can't make the jump without getting the high jump, so I need to beat Orthworm. Well, Orthworm makes this a little bit difficult. I choose poorly here. Just barely don't knock it out to the point where it's going to run away. Instead, it gets me. As that was just bad planning on my part, I go ahead and retry again, this time in the sun, to take on Orthworm. And this time I'm going to be smart about it and just use 2 low kicks, and he's going to run away. I chase him down, he eats the herb, Arvin joins me, and Arvin decide to take on the Orthworm. I'm going to go with the low kick again, get wrapped, and Orthrum's gonna get confused. But worry not. I get a crit on my second one, taking out Orthworm, getting the high jump, which is going to allow me to get the rock slide, so now I can take on flying adversaries a little better. But I also realized I pick up the Icy Wind TM somewhere, so I go ahead and learn that for later and teach the rock slide in replace of Icy Wind now. Head back, beat the Murkrow, get into the Dark Team Starfall base, and as you can see from where I started the game how I bred up a few extra Croagunks, I'm going to use only Croagunks to handle the bases. With that, I take on Giacomo, and I'll give you a hint. How do you think this is going to go? Dark types versus a fighting type. And the fact that I'm very much over leveled because I went after Orthworm. One hit the Poniard, and then I go up against the Starmobile. Looks like it's going to be more than a few hits, so I go ahead and set up bulk up so it can't take me out so easily. And hit it with Drain Punch. Almost taking it out, and on the next turn, it's gone. And with that, Giacomo's down. Next up, Bombardier. This one could be real bad, because if it does use any of its flying moves with my tissue paper style defenses, it could beat me. But thankfully I outspeed, hit Bombardier with the rock slide, and send it into the second phase. Arven joins, and I just go straight for that rock slide again, hoping for the best. I do get it, it doesn't get a one-shot. Arven's Knackley does some damage, and I take it out with a Drain Punch. With that, one of the biggest obstacles is done. Head over to Iona's gym, and I bump into Demona. She wants a fight, so I give her one. Instantly KOing her Rockruff. Next comes out her Palmy. Thinking it can do nothing to me, I go ahead and start to set up with Bulk Up. Get 2 Bulk Ups done, and Palmy decides to dig. I thought now would be a good time to terrestrialize into the fightings, get away from my ground weakness with poison. It comes up, and I Drain Punch, healing up to full. Isn't that going good for me so far? Next comes in Procalor. He's going to terrestrialize it into fire, and I'm going to try to hit it with Rock Slide, and instead I'm going to get hit with a boosted Incinerate and miss my Rock Slide. He's going to follow it up with another Incinerate and defeat me again. Oh well. Moving on. Next up is the streamer Iona. She leads with her Watch Roll, and I use 2 Venoshocks to take it out. Next comes in Belly Bolt, and I go with Mud Slap just to lower its accuracy. After that happens a little bit, I go ahead and start using Drain Punch to get some of my health back. Thankfully, it seems to pan out fairly well for me, even though I got real close to losing. Luxray comes in, I Drain Punch it, heal some more. It uses Spark, but unfortunately, it just can't take me out quick enough, so I take it out. Last but not least is her Miss Magius. Her ace in the hole with no weakness. I go ahead and she terrestrializes, I terrestrialize in response, and go for the Drain Punch. Fortunately, I get confused, break through confusion, hit with the Drain Punch, take it to below half. And all I need to do is hit her again, break through confusion, and it happens. Thankfully, I was able to take her on and not lose on the first try. Next up is Milan, the fire type Team Starfall leader, who leads with her Torkoal, and I brought Rain Dance for just such an occasion. Get hit with Fire Will, hit it with Rock Slide so it might get the flinch, take it out over 3 hits. Next comes in her Revavroom. I go for Drain Punch after terrestrializing to get the extra boost and hopefully heal up a bit more. And it goes for Overheat. Unfortunately, there's going to be no way for me to win this one as she's going to lower my defenses, and things are going to look bad for a little while. After losing a few times, I decide to go and level up Croagunk till she evolves into Toxicroak. Now Desfrog is even a bigger frog. Time to go back and fight Milan one more time. With a drought, I respond with Rain Dance. Fire Will is now doing pathetic amounts of damage. Follow with the Rock Slide, hoping for the flinch, don't get it. Follow up again with the Rock Slide to take it out. Next the Revavroom's up, it lowers my defenses, and I hit it with Rock Slide, almost being in a 2-hit range. So I'm going to get over 3 hits, and then on the third one, just to make sure I don't get the miss, I go with Drain Punch, even though I'm burned. Thankfully, I get the KO, and that means another Starfall base is complete. After this, I went out into the desert, trained up against other trainers, so that I could actually get the Earthquake TM, which is going to be exactly what I need to take on the Poison Team Starfall base leader. With Earthquake on my side, it should just be a string of 1-hits. Skuntank is Revavroom's next. Also gets 1 hit with Earthquake. I think you see how this is going to turn out. Muck One and the same, another Oko, and last but not least is his Reverend. If you guessed that this was going to be a 1-hit, you would have been incorrect. Instead, it's going to be a 3-hit. And with that, the third base is done, and now I get access to be able to learn how to craft the teams for both Thunder Punch and Ice Punch, but I can't get the materials for those just yet. So instead, I head over to Kofu. Thankfully, most of his water Pokemon can't do super effective damage to me, except for Veluza, who can actually do something with Psychic or Flying moves for some reason, but I take it out over 2 turns. Next comes in Trio. I just use Drain Punch, get hit by its Gooey ability and slows me down, but that just leaves Kofu's Ace for Abominable. I'm going to Terrastalize into the fight and use a double boosted Rain Punch to take it out while it Terrastalizes into the Water type. It's going to be over 2 turns, but Kofu really doesn't have an answer for me, so I take him out on the second. And with that, I now have my 4th or 5th badge, I think at this point. I've lost count. But next up is Larry, the normal type gym leader. He's going to lead off with Omala, and I'm just going to go ahead and straight up Terrastalize into the fighting and start taking him out. Accidentally misclick here, use Poison Jab instead of Drain Punch, get put to sleep. The Dunsparce comes out and takes me out over 3 turns with Hyper Drill. Oh, that was completely my error because I accidentally misclicked the wrong button, getting in a rush. So we go back to Larry, start this off right, gonna Terrastalize and use Drain Punch like I meant to do, and as you can guess, 1 hit. Now that the Dunsparce doesn't have me at its whim, I can take it out in 1 hit. Next comes out Staraptor, and it's Larry's ace, so he's got to Terrastalize it. But before that, all these kids gotta come in and root him on, because, you know, he is the fan favorite. And with the bird wearing a nice shiny bling, it also takes a dirt nap. And of course, Nemona and Geeta have to come in and tell me, hey, time for another battle, and Geeta's gonna supervise. So she takes me outside for another fight. The last time I was at this point, she just basically kicked my butt altogether, but this time, I think I might be in a better position. Taking out her Lycanroc in 1 hit, Goomy in 1 hit, Palmy comes in. With Earthquake, I'm able to take it out with 1 hit again. None more having to worry about the dig stress that it was pulling off before. Next up is Skeledirge, who she's going to Terrastalize into fire. And of course, I'm going to answer with an Earthquake. Getting just about halfway down, it's going to Torch Song, almost take me out, but thankfully my Earthquake, I'm faster, and I take it out this time. But that leads me straight into the next Titan, Great Tusk. Try to Terrastalize into fighting so that I can boost my Drain Punch a bit more, but it doesn't seem like it's doing nearly enough to keep me stuck around. Unfortunately, the Great Tusk speeds me toward the end and beats me. Now I decided to go for a special attack build using Nasty Plot and Chilling Water. Between these two, I should have just enough to take care of Great Tusk, but again, Terrastalize to get away from Poison's weakness to ground. Use 1 Nasty Plot, 1 Chilling Water, get a critical, and beat the Great Tusk. After this, I run over there, Arven joins me, and we take on Great Tusk anew after he has had a little snack. Try Chilling Water to see how much damage it's gonna do. Again, Terrastalizing to save my butt from my weakness, and it did pathetic damage, maybe a 5th or a 6th. So I go ahead and start setting up a few Nasty Plots, and let Scovillain do some damage in the meantime. After I get 2 of them set up, I hit it with Chilling Water, lowering its attack, and it just barely holds on, takes out Scovillain, and leaves me to do the final hit. With that, Great Tusk is taken care of, and I have enough material to make Ice Punch. It was nice that I got it, but now it's time to go over to Ryme's gym, and I have to get through the warm-ups first, but unfortunately this Mischievous keeps taking me out, so I'm going to have to find a way to handle it first. So I go check the TM machine, see I need the Shadow Claw, but I need Mimikyu's material first. So I go to the place where the Mimikyu spawns, and I just couldn't find one after 20-30 minutes of running around here. So I was going to make a sandwich, realized I didn't have the ingredients to make any sandwiches. So I decided I would go to the store and buy the sandwich ingredients. Of course, I didn't know what I was needing, so I was just grabbing everything I thought I might need. So with all that done, I buy the stuff, make the sandwich, go back to the area, run around for another 20 minutes, and still couldn't find it. So I went to the other area where Mimikyu spawned, immediately found it, made the TM for Shadow Claw, taught the TM for Shadow Claw in place, a Poison Jab, went back and 1-hit KO'd the Mischievous, and headed on in to fight Ryme. Finally. Here, I went ahead and made my first mistake. Using Earthquake to break Mimikyu's disguise, I was hoping also take out my own Grogunk and everything, but because I'm not focusing down any one Pokemon, I'm just not doing enough damage to any one Pokemon. Mimikyu is now at least being able to be damaged. I get the Omni boost from the crowd, take out Mimikyu, and I am on my last leg when Toxicity, her ace, comes in. After doing the little cutscene with the dogs, she terastallizes her Toxicity, and my Earthquake just doesn't take it out, leaving me open for a KO. Well, I think I figured out what I need to do here, is just not care about the Mimikyu at all and take out the Bayonet. Of course, I take out the other frog I have with me, which is fine. Take out the Bayonet in one hit, Houndstone comes in, I terastallize so that I can get the Omni boost from the crowd again. Because I mean, hey, why not? Take out Houndstone in one hit, in comes Toxicity, who again is going to terastallize, and I'm going to go ahead, get that Omni boost, use Shadow Claw on Toxicity, take out Toxicity in one hit. Now all that's left is me and Mimikyu, and it can't really do a whole lot to me. Over the next 2 turns, I take out Mimikyu, first breaking its disguise, and then taking it out entirely. Thankfully I had leftovers there as well to help me sustain myself. I headed over to the Psychic Gym, which is going to be the hardest gym I have to fight, I believe, but Nemona's waiting on me. Take out her Lycanroc in one hit again. It comes out her Subglu, gets hit with Ice Punch one time, takes it out. I didn't actually have an answer for Palmy this time. End up paralyzed. Stay paralyzed through another turn. Finally get off a Drain Punch and take it out. She sends out her Skeleturge, who she's going to terastallize into Pure Fire. Torch Song, which I barely hang on through, and I do pathetic damage against her with Shadow Claw. And she takes me out on the next turn. Not liking my chances then with the Psychic type gym leader, I head on over and take on Dondozo and Tatsugiri. After trading blows for a little while, I'm actually able to chase off Dondozo. If he'd got one more hit in, it would have been the end for me. But I end up chasing down Dondozo. Arven joins the fight, and with that, we take on the combined force of Dondozo and Tatsugiri. Terastallize to just try to get a little bit of extra damage when Drain Punch when I use it, and start using Thunder Punch. Now here I am just using Drain Punch to stick around, hoping Greedent can help me out as much as it can. Using Thunder Punch and hoping for a crit, but I don't get it, and I don't get the 10% chance to paralyze at any point. But I ended up taking out the Dondozo, and out comes the Tatsugiri. I think my best bet here is just to terastallize and spam using Drain Punch, just so that it can't take me out. Drops our speed. Greedent is using Takedown, so it's not going to stick around for too awful long. I get left at 3 HP, heal myself back up to 59. Almost took me out. Thankfully, with leftovers regen, I got up to 69, which is very nice, because that's how I end the fight with another Drain Punch. And with that, the Titan quest line is complete, Mastiff is completely healed, and Professor Shada's asking me and Arven to come back to the lighthouse, so that she can tell us a little more. But before I do that, I decide to head over and fight the Fairy Team Starfall member. Considering I'm a poison type, this should be easy, considering that all fairy types are weak against poison. As you can guess, one hit first 2 Pokemon. Doxbun uses Baby Doll Eyes to lower my attack, and then I take it out on the second hit. Next, the Revivroom, taking a little more than a third, or a little less than a third, I believe, from my poison jab. I get hit with Confuse Ray, try to take it out, hit myself in confusion, it hits me with Magical Torque. I go again, hit myself again, and it takes me out. That was some horrible luck, so I decided to try again, and this time it goes a bit better. Starting off, it's exactly the same. Take out Zoomeril, Wigglytuff, and comes the Doxbun. I taunt so that it can't use Baby Doll Eyes on me. Uses Play Rough, which I'd rather take that. Take it out in one hit on the next turn. But the Revivroom comes in, and now my attack's not lowered, which leads me to be able to do more than 50% damage and take it out over 2 hits. Next up is that Psychic gym leader that I was dreading so much, but thankfully I have answers for most of her Pokemon. I terastallize into fighting, taking my dual weakness down into a single, thankfully. Take out Farigiraf with an X-Scissor. Gardevoir comes in, her fairy typing doesn't work good for her, so I take it out in one hit. Espathra gets taken out in one hit as well. This is going surprisingly smoothly. Last is her ace, Florigis, which she is going to terastallize it into Psychic. And I'm going to hit it with an X-Scissor and take it out in one hit. That went a lot better than I anticipated. So here I go ahead and buy some bottle caps, hyper train, up all my stats except special attack, and then head in to deal with Gresha. One shot the Frost Moth with Proc Slide, one shot the Bear Tick with Drain Punch, one shot the Titan with a Drain Punch. This is going pretty good. Next comes Altaria, but Gresha is going to Terastallize into Ice, giving it a fighting weakness, and I take it out with just one more Drain Punch. Thankfully, this has just been a long string of one hits, and I wanted to show this. I'm still using level 1s to help me out, do all this fighting here, and they're still able to get KOs. Like, I don't know how they figured up the formula for that, but it's just weird. Next up is the fighting Team Starfall, and the last one before the big boss. We match off with Toxicroaks. I 2-hit her Toxicroak. She sends out Lucario. I 1-hit it. Next comes in her Annihilate. I use Aerial Ace, get about 50% down. And it's not looking too good, because now I'm below half. I have no way to regen my health except through Drain Punch. And I have Aerial Ace to help me get through all these fights. But on the first chance, I do get to the Revel Room, and I don't think I'm going to be able to beat this because I do about a 5th and get taken out immediately. I retry with slightly better tactics this time, going for bulk up against her Toxicroak, who really can't do anything to me. I'm able to set up 4 bulk ups before switching into Drain Punch to take out Toxicroak. Lucario, Annihilate comes in, followed up with an Aerial Ace, get the 1-hit. A Simeon, again with the 1-hit. But now it's going to be the big, real difficult. Can I take out the Starmobile? First hit doesn't KO, but it looks like my second hit is going to. And with that, I've beaten all the Starfall base leaders. Now it's time for the Elite Four. Rika's the first one up, and I go ahead and start setting up bulk up against her Whiscash. Not remembering that I had the Future Sight, I go ahead, try to set 3 bulk ups, get hit with Muddy Water, and Future Sight takes me out. Yeah, I think I know what the problem was there. So this time around, I'm going to Terastallize to get away from the double weakness to Psychic, use a couple bulk ups just to boost my attack, only 2, and take out Whiscash with a Drain Punch on the 3rd turn, healing me back up to full and giving me just enough health to be able to live through Future Sight. Next comes in the Camerupt, and I'm going to just Earthquake and take it out in 1 hit. Donphan comes in, and it's going to survive an Ice Punch because he's sturdy. Take it out on the next hit. Dugtrio's next. Take it out with an Ice Punch. Next comes in Rika's Clodsire. I'm going to try to Ice Punch. Of course, it's going to protect to stall out the fight. And then on the next turn, my Ice Punch 1 hits. With that, I'm on to the next one. Poppy. Unfortunately, this child is just in a bad position. I go ahead and Terastallize and bulk up, resist the majority of her steel moves, get 2 bulk ups off, and then it's just time to sweep. Drain Punch is just going to sweep Thunder Punch on the Corviknight. Next comes in Bronzong, and it being a psychic type, I go for Shadow Claw, take it out in 1 hit. Magnezone comes in, I heal up as much as I can with Drain Punch, take it out over 2 hits because it's sturdy, and then comes in Tinkaton, which she's going to Terastallize into Steel. I'll give you a hint at what a boosted double stab Drain Punch will do to a pure Steel type, and that's 1 hit. Next is Larry with his flying types, and this is kinda rough on me because fighting is what's making me weak to flying. The Ice Punch Tropius. A Raptor comes in, lowers my attack stat. Because of that, it survives and takes me out with Brave Bird. Let's try that again. This time, let me do a little bit of setting up. Turn 1, I use Bulk Up. It uses Sunny Day. I go for Ice Punch. Take it out. Staraptor comes in, neutralizing my attack up boost, but I still take it out. Next up is Oricorio, flying type again, of course. Take it out with 1 Ice Punch. Next comes in Altaria, 4 times weak to ice. You can guess. Next comes in Flamingo. Gets Terastallized, and with that nice, beautiful hat, it is able to survive 1 Ice Punch. But it gets frozen with that 10% chance, giving me the free KO. Next is Hansel and his Dragon-type Pokemon. This was the main reason I wanted to make sure I had Ice Punch to begin with. Noivern goes out with 1 hit. Same for Flapple. Dragalge comes in, and it's Dragon Poison. So it's able to stick around just a little better. Takes 2 hits. My Dragon takes 2 hits. Hits me with a Dragon Claw. Thankfully, Baxcalibur is going to come in and it's going to Terastallize into full Dragon, it's just going to be weak to ice as well, but it's able to survive, but only take 50% of the damage. So I go ahead and reset, come back in, and this time I do a little bit more planning. So I use bulk up on the Dragalge 2 times so that I'm going to be able to sweep the next 2 Pokemon. Drain Punch on the Dragalge to get a little bit of health back, which may have been a bit of a mistake, but next comes in the Haxorus. I go for Drain Punch, KOing it, and getting about 50% of my health back. Next comes in Excalibur. I go for the Drain Punch, but I also Terrastalize to get that boosted damage. He Terrastalizes, and with that, I actually take Excalibur out in one hit. And now it's on to Geeta, the champion. She's leading with a Spathra, and I take it out with an X-Scissor. Next, she sends in Go-Goat, which I found really weird, but it survives an Ice Punch and almost KOs me with a Zen Headbutt. Next is King Gambit. I go for Drain Punch, trying to heal up as much as I can. Veluza comes out, and I forget this thing is actually a Psychic type, so it takes me out with a Psycho Cutter. Reset the fight, try this again. This time I Terrastalize, use X-Scissor, take out the Espathra. Go-Goat comes back out again, but this time I use X-Scissor. Still survives, but instead of using Zen Headbutt, uses Play Rough. Take it out in 2 hits. I use bulk up on King Gambit because I forgot it had Zen Headbutt, but I figured I could heal up as much as before. Take it out. Next comes in Veluza. Use X-Scissor because of the bulk up. I'm able to take it out in 1 hit. I use bulk up on Avalugg, uses Body Press, and I use Drain Punch to heal up almost completely. Next comes in Glamora, and it's going to Terrastalize into Rock, so I go ahead and use Drain Punch to beat it as well, leaving me at full health, and it spreads Toxic Debris, but I've won. Now it's on to Nemona. Me and her seem to be swapping back and forth, so let's see how this battle is going to end. Start out with Terrastalizing and boosting, because I knew her Lycanroc really couldn't do much for me, and I could 1-hit KO. I get 2 bulk ups before I need to swap into using Drain Punch to stay alive. I heal up. She sends in her Palmy. I take it out with 1 Earthquake. The Dunsparce is next. It seems the same fate as Larry's, taking out in 1 hit with Drain Punch. Earthworm, this poor thing. Next is Goodra, and it goes down with 1 Ice Punch. Last but not least is Skeledirge, who I plan on hitting with an Earthquake. But first things first, she's got to Terrastalize and give it a great hack. But with that, I've swept Nemona's team, and there's nothing left but to go fight Director Clive. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, because he starts with a Psychic Pokemon as well, but I brought a berry just to wake me up, in case he put me to sleep. Which, I figured he would, because he always starts with Yawn. You get 1 bulk up, take out Oranguru, fall asleep, eat my berry, and wake up. Next comes in Abomasnow. I hit X-Scissor, thinking he would kill it. Doesn't, so I use bulk up again. Get hit with Blizzard, and use X-Scissor to take it out. Next comes in Houndoom, and again, I don't have a great answer for this, but I survive a Fire Blast and take out the Houndoom. Aurora Veil wears off the same time Gyarados comes out, and I take it out in 1 punch. Stick around with red health, but thankfully I'm able to take out the Gyarados, Poltegeist, and the Masquerade, all with 1 hit each, even though the Masquerade did Terrastalize, but if it would have been able to outspeed, it would have KO'd me. But next up is Penny. I figured she would be the easiest one considering she is right here, so I take out her Umbreon in 1 hit, looking good so far. Next comes Flareon, take it out in 1 hit. Yeah, this is going to be great. No problem. Next is Vaporeon, Thunder Punch, yep. Oh, well it survives, hits me with Hydro Punch, gets crit, and I take it out. Jolteon's next, so no biggie, take it out with Earthquake. Next comes in Leafeon, I hit it with an X-Scissor, it holds on with about 1/3, and I get another reset there. So let's try this again against Penny. Maybe that was just bad luck. Terrastalize into the Fighting type, X-Scissor, it survives, hits me with a Psychic, hits me with a Baby Doll Eyes, and that's going to be something that Penny likes to do a lot. With my attack lowered, I'm no bulk up to help me, I'm stuck just kind of floundering. So I take out the Flareon, try to take out the Vaporeon, it misses its Hydro Pump, and I get it on the second turn. Jolteon's next, and I'm not looking good, because I know that more than likely I can take out the Leafeon, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle the Sylveon, which I'm now weak to. And with that, I get hit with another Baby Doll Eyes, and Leafeon now has me. Before going into her Sylveon, I'm at a -2 attack. She's going to Terrastalize, use Moonblast, and I'm just not going to be able to hold on because my Poison Jab doesn't do enough. So I decided to run off and fight Arven for a little while to hopefully get a few extra levels. He leads with his Greedent, and I'm going to start this fight off using Bulk Up to shore up my attack and defense stats. Thankfully, its Psychic Fang doesn't do too much. Get 2 boosts off, take out Greedent, heal back up. Scovillain seems the same fate with a Poison Jab. Toxicroak gets hit with an Ice Punch, gets 1-hit KO'd. Next comes in Knucklestack, gets a 1-shot with a Drain Punch. I level up. Next comes Cloyster. I hit it with a Drain Punch as well because I don't have any super effective moves against it. Poor Mastiff gets sent out, and with a Terra boosted with Drain Punch, I put him right back in the state he was at the beginning of the game. Now it's back to Penny, and hopefully this time I'll have a good enough strategy to take her out. After leveling up a bit and changing my Terra type to normal so that I resist most of her attacks, or at least take neutral damage from them, I one-shot Umbreon, Flareon, Vaporeon comes in, hits me with the Baby Doll Eyes, lives, gets a second Baby Doll Eyes off on me, but doesn't do any damage. Next comes in Jolteon. Even at -2, it gets taken out in 1 hit. Poison Jab still is enough to take Leafeon out in 1 hit. Drain Punch to regen what little bit of health I can. And last but not least is the Sylveon, who is going to Terrastalize, and hopefully I survive the first hit. I almost take it out with my Poison Jab. Hits me with a Moonblast, and I hang on. On the second Poison Jab, I take out Sylveon, and with that, I've beaten all of the Team Starfall. With everything else done, I head on down through the cutscene, through Area 0, to fight against Professor Sada and her Paradox Pokemon. It's Paradox Pokemon because it's a robot? I'm not sure. I'll let you decide in the comments. Anyway, Sada starts out by sending out Slitherwing, which I immediately answer with an Aerial Ace, taking it out. Next is Screamtail, hit it with Poison Jab, taking it out in 1 hit as well. So far so good. Next is Brute Bonnet. Basically this thing just did not want to talk to me. I had super effective on almost everything. Next up is Sandy Shocks, and after a second I go with Ice Punch, hits me with Earth Power, I barely hang on, and hit it with Drain Punch. I also move away from my Terra typing, I Terrestrialize into normal, so that I might hang on just a little while longer. Next up is Fluttermane, and this thing can be a pain in the butt, even with the best of Pokemon. So, I don't have any super effective answers to it, but I hit Poison Jab and take it out in 1 hit. Thankfully, it didn't outspeed. Next up is Roaring Moon. And here's the thing, if it gets 1 attack on me, I'm probably gonna lose. I Ice Punch, get the freeze, 10% chance, and with that, I'm able to just win. Thankfully, here it is, Toxicroak at level 80 winning. But that's not the last of it. Toxicroak still has to fight 1 more opponent. That's Koraidon. It hits me with its signature move, I hit it with an Ice Punch, and over 2 turns, I win. And with that, Toxicroak's actually beaten Pokemon Scarlet, including the box art legendary. I did get KO'd and have to do resets about 29 times across the whole game, which I think is still pretty good for someone who's just now getting into the hang of doing this game in a solo fashion. But tell me, what Pokemon would you like to see me do next as a solo challenge here on the channel? And if you've enjoyed it and stuck around this much, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're already going to be down there leaving the comment, so it'd mean a lot to me. So, until next time, you all stay safe.